我的这个版本对上单不太友好，因为现在的重心都是放在下路，下路的套路比较多，哪边下路取得更好的阵容、更好的优势，就会比较好赢。大家都比较喜欢看我女装嘛，我觉得我女装还是挺好看的。要是有机会的话，换件衣服再女装。
Was that what you got? You know,
is
it a sneak peek of what he's gonna wear next, Raz?
I don't know what you're talking about, all right? Get out of here with your nonsense.
I can't get out of here. We're stuck on this desk, Raz, until
I
at
can
least
solo
this set
cast.
ends. You sure? Just gotta check in with the producers, make sure they're okay with this. I mean, you sure, Raz?
Yep. Okay. Send the message in.
Wow, Raz,
I've got these team fights.
Raz hates me. You heard it here first. And he doesn't like BLG's top lane, Amazing J. Doesn't like his cosplay. I mean, Raz, what's going on here? We all need to just, you know, love each other a little bit more. Spread love, not hate. But I've got a very, very serious question for you.
Do you have addressed us like that?
No. Sneaky or Amazing J?
AJ 100%. Let's go.
Come on, man. Really?
No questions asked.
I mean,
and every single one of you people in Twitch chat, you say otherwise, you're banished.
I mean, Sneaky got a skin for it, Raz. Sivir, pizza delivery Sivir, that's based off Sneaky, right? That's how it was done, not the other way around.
Wait a second. Mr. History Revisionist?
But I was pretty curious about his first half of that interview, where he was talking about how, you know, there's not too many tactics to get thrown into the top lane anymore. It's more focused on the bottom lane. Is that really the case? Because yes, we see unorthodox picks on the bottom side of the map. Fury picked up Vladimir, something we would not see in previous metas. But we still have 80 carries. A team like BLG only plays 80 carries in the bottom lane. Granted, champions like Kai'Sa do build towards ability power later on instead. But it almost feels like most of the strategy and tactics in the current meta come from the mid lane, as well as the junglers.
I'm with you. I think that while it's easy to say that there's changes in focusing towards the bottom lane because there are new champions in the bottom lane, I think that's fair in certain circumstances when you see Brand coming into the bottom lane, which is a real terror right now in North America. But remember, a lot of what we see right now in the LPL is based off of jungles getting incredibly buffed up with experience, resources in general, and they just take the money, the moolah that they do have, and they do roll up towards the bottom lane. But that's the thing that I thought that BLG would do very well with, that they would thrive with, because they haven't played towards top lane at all. Usually take that towards the bottom side of the map.
Yep, dropping their fat stacks in the bottom lane whenever they pick up as much money as they can.
Dosh. Grab it while you can.
But we didn't see that from BLG last match. That's where we expected them to attack. We expected them to throw 4 members, or even more, into the bottom lane, try and dive Fury as well as Yoon. Jinjiao and Road had priority that entire match. But they didn't do it! They got dive top lane and tried to salvage a bad situation, and then Suning just rolled over them.
And of course, the heads of BLG usually learn these lessons in best of 5s, and they come back in game 2 much stronger, much more decisive. That's what I expect here. I don't expect Suning Gaming to just take it over 2-0. It's not going to happen. BLG is a team that grows along a series.
Well, let's see if their heads will continue to roll here in game number 2, Raz, as we see the bans in the first ban phase for both these teams. Zoe, 100% banned by both these teams, either for or against. Suning banning it as their first ban every single time. Camille following through. They hate playing against that champion. They don't want to play it either. Morgana, their final ban. With Lucian, Dr. Mundo, as well as Graves, without a cigar, being banned out by BLG. First pick from Suning. They're the ones that are going to take Nocturne away now.
Yeah, and I wonder if BLG just end up taking the Shen away. Because with Shen Nocturne, we've seen what the composition can do. Last time around, it was difficult for BLG, but it is still very strong when you have a lead. So BLG must value it. They already have themselves the Ryze, and Ryze Shen is a strong composition, allows you to go for a 1-4.
You see, speaking about Ryze Shen, Ryze in the mid lane, or Ryze Shen down at the bottom.
That's true.
Because Jinjiao only plays 80 carries, so we're not going to see that lane bottom side of the map, most likely. But Mole has been playing Ryze, so it should be that mid lane pick. You are right, it is the Ryze Shen combination.
You always wonder, because there's always takes on Jinjiao saying that, you know what, I want to play it. I don't want to play the 580 carries that I've been playing for 5 years. That's way too boring, but it comes down to what BLG prioritizes, and you're right. Team fighting in the later stages of the game, they prioritize having 80 carries, so that still may be the case here. Remember though that you can probably end up taking yourself an 80 carry jungler. Graves is off the map. I know that Rusty was throwing a few 80 carries like Lucian. I expect maybe Kindred Chieftain can pick it up, and then you can have
Kindred.
something. I'd like to see more Kindred. Really would. More resources on Kindred. Remember, it takes a lot to get going in terms of items, but it's still heavy pressure early on.
Is this something we've seen recently? Kindred being picked up with the current meta?
Last time we saw it, especially for the LPL, was in playoffs, so we haven't really gotten to see it in competitive games just yet. I think it's really good in towards the Nocturne and denies a lot of the assassination attempts later on in the game, but it's not going to happen this time around.
No, doesn't get locked in for BLG, but let's look at Suning's picks first. Vladimir as well as Rakan. Those should be the actual bottom lane duo. That should be Vladimir and Rakan in the bottom lane for Fury as well as Yoon. For BLG, they lock in Rek'Sai, Chieftain, one of the few players to pick it up this season, and he played it once so far. He's going to play it again here in match number 2 against Suning.
And he usually goes towards the Bruiser builds. Tiamat with the tank jungle item. That's what I want to see if he does that now, because he has the protection of the Shen on top of him, so he can go full submarine bottom lane with full AD, warriors and Shen, and make it happen and try and snowball the game early on. He can do that. Wonder if that's what he wants to.
We'll keep track of him later on, but we're going through the second ban phase. Gangplank, the first ban by BLG. Xiao is a very strong top laner, so if you don't want him on a carry pick, Gangplank's the one you want to take away. Has it been too successful in the first week of the LPL? When it has been picked up, it's normally been shut down quite easily. A couple of players have done well with it in the late game.
Yeah, my worry when it comes to GP is that he does have decent matchups, and that might showcase that the Shen can go top lane because you want to clear the way for Shen. But the issue with GP is that he just takes a long time with this build. Comes online around 30 minutes, but by that time the game is usually decided, or you're really challenging inhibitors at that point. The meta is really sped up across the world, so GP, while still strong in these matchups, do not like it in the current climate.
And we had a 53-minute game yesterday. I believe that was between Snake and Team WE.
Where's your mind at?
But 53-minute games for Spring Split, that felt a little bit more like a normal match. We normally used to see those long matches. Final bans coming through were Fiddlesticks as well as Alistar as the support bands coming out from Suning. Singed is the band that comes out from BLG. Amazing J, he's had it 100% banned against him. When it's not, he's picked it up. This time it's BLG that decide they don't want Xiao Ao to pick up that pick. They go for Talia, most likely their jungle. No! Wait a minute, that's going to be a Shen support? Oh, where's Rek'Sai going? Where's Talia going?
Rek'Sai is going to go mid. I still think it's possible to put Talia mid. She just won't have the wave clear that she did in the past. So remember, that's the major change that went through, is that the AoE wave clear off Q, not there any longer. So while she is very good in her rotations, being able to get from one lane to the next very quickly based off the change to her passive, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get her there. So the 2v2 is important. Rek'Sai to back her up. I'd love to see that here in today's match.
Then that's going to beg the question of where does Rise go? Because if it's Rek'Sai in the jungle, Rise could go towards top side map. We know Mace J can play the champion, has before, not in this split. It could be that bottom lane Rise.
That's why it all depends on the last pick here for BLG, that they can have a conventional AD carry and you can round it out, or the Rise can go in the bottom lane.
Well, let's see what they pick. For Suning, Aatrox as well as Swain were their final 2 picks. Aatrox very strong on the top lane at the moment. Swain being picked up, that's probably going to be Fury's pick, with Vladimir going mid lane, because we talked about how Fury likes the champion, but Vladimir's been a a bottom laner for quite some time. Final pick that comes out from BLG was the Irelia. So Jin Jiao, after playing 80 carry, 7 games of it, Raz, and not going to a different champion with the current meta, finally goes for his first mage in the bottom lane. Hang on.
So here's the thing about Talia.
What's going on, Raz?
You can play her as a support as well, and I would love to see that. I've been trying to get Rusty to play her as a support, just because she has good trading patterns. She has the range to do so. So Rise and Talia is great within the dual lane. That's going to be fun as we go along in the first few minutes of the game.
This
like
is going to be fun to watch. Yes, I am being destroyed by those stage lights, Raz. I can't see a thing. That one, you saw it right. That one, that's flashing on your screen. That light is killing me right now. My goodness. Look, even Aatrox, he's dancing. He's got a good disco going right there.
I want to talk on Aatrox just a little bit, because before the NA games yesterday, I was doing some research into the win rate for Aatrox, and if we're looking at the top 4 regions across the world, and if we're discounting teams that did incredibly poorly in Spring Split, just the last place teams there, he is 10 for 11. Right now, if you're looking at the entire games right now, we're talking about 74% win ratio. So Aatrox is doing incredibly well across the world.
Still yet to see Amazing J go towards one of those bruiser-based picks. He's been playing tanks. 3 games of Ornn, 2 games of Poppy, Dr. Mundo, and a singed game so far. And for the side of Xiao, we know that he can play these bruisers. We know he can go towards the likes of Aatrox. Curious to see how he's going to do against Shen in the top lane. It looks like a matchup that will be difficult for the Shen. But BLG throwing a spanner in the works. We get to watch Talia's support with Ryze in the bottom lane. This is going to be fun.
It is. It's going to be great. Remember, one of the changes that Talia had was that her W, her flick, is lower cooldown entirely. And it's stasis as well, so it's a 1 level up wonder. So that means your trading pattern is going to be great, and you have to watch out bottom lane here. If you get flicked, you lose the lane.
Let's see how this matchup pans out. Sunic were able to take game number 1 against BLG. BLG desperately trying to fight back. Let's see how game number 2 goes. We're going into Summoner's Rift for that match. BLG fans hoping that there could be a comeback here for BLG in game number 2. And just like we saw in day 1, Raz, it's no longer the TSM chance to get thrown out after the 2 teams. It's now RNG. Give me some respect over to the team that brought back the MSI trophy.
The new overlords. Now I hope we get to hear some RNG chants in North America. Please, let it happen.
Come on. High hopes there.
Man can dream.
You've got to get through TSM first.
Oh, are you kidding me? We got to travel over there because they can't come over here?
They can come over here if they want, Raz. We can go there too.
That's true.
It's not a contest. Well, technically it's a tournament. Let's get into this match though, Raz. Taking a look at some interesting picks here. It's not going to be Talia going into the jungle. That's something we've expected, but in the bottom lane, they're looking for a very early miss of every single rock that Road throws.
They were too smart. 200 IQ. They knew they were in the bush.
Fury already starts a trade against Jin Jiao. Road trying to throw as many rocks as he can into this back line, getting poked against Yoon as well as Fury.
The best part about Talia here, remember, is that she has full bush control. She can just ride ride the wall. Remember, 2 seconds out of combat is when you can get to surfing again. So it really is impressive of how quick she is in lane. So she's incredibly fast. Past the wave is really strong in her trade patterns. So yeah, Yoon's not going to be able to do too much, not going to be able to push up in this lane.
Is that her entire purpose though in the bottom lane? Just to keep pressure against Fury and Yoon, get as much damage as possible, and provide a little bit of utility in the late game, it seems?
Yep, 100%. Reminds me of Fiddlesticks in the sense that very squishy and cannot fall behind. So if you do fall behind, you're not going to be building any AP because you're not going to afford it, and you're going to be victim to everyone on the map. So it has to work in the laning phase. That's its purpose.
Meanwhile, Yoon in some trouble, gets locked down by the Rune Prism, but Chieftain finds the flash, predicts it. First blood being picked up by BLG.
Really well done. It needed to happen. It really did. So
good gank.
There we go. Chieftain now with bottom side pressure and this wave about to crash. Wonder if he makes a return visit, because that's been the name of the game here in Demacia Cup at the layer league.
I actually thought it'd be the case because Yoon does not have teleport. He used his flash in that fight, but he's packing Ignite. There's an opportunity for Chieftain to try and continue the pressure in the bottom lane. Not going to be the case. Meanwhile, we're checking with Fen, going for Vladimir in the mid lane. Now, Vladimir's mostly been an AD carry, so to speak, or AD carry position, but he's picked up Unsealed Spellbook. This is the new Unsealed Spellbook, one that we haven't seen so far in the LPL from what I know. But Fury taking a big tray in the bottom lane, forced to flash away.
Simply just not seen Unsealed Spellbook on Vladimir since the change has gone through, because he's either gone towards Electrocute or the ability to just run you down. Extra movement speed that you get in that tree and domination. So the fact that he hasn't gone towards it means that he wants to have the flexibility. If he gets CC'd by the Ryze later on in the game, he would be able to have cleanse or have just stop it for himself.
Let's see what his first swap is going to be, because once he swaps out, that Summoner is going to be difficult for him to get back unless he swaps a few more times to other Summoner spells. But for now, holding on to his flash as well as Ignite.
What's really cool about this bottom lane combination from Road and Jin Jiao, we talked about what Road can do in this lane, but with the combination, we saw the attempt at it under tower. But the empowered Rune Prison really makes it difficult, impossible, I'd say, for Road to miss his flick. So if you walk up as Jin Jiao, place him down, I feel like right now Yoon and Fury already had a difficult time in this lane just because of Talia's pressure, but with the combination, you need to stay away from Rise.
And already a 10 CS lead for Jinja on that bottom lane. We'll keep track of that. Chieftain still farming up inside of the jungle. Hacker invades, takes away the Raptor camp. Chieftain will now find that out. Good counter jungling coming out from Hacker. He's now adding some pressure. Doesn't have the support from his mid lane. Instead, it's going to be a mage pick being thrown out by FunFun.
You see him here. Right now, the Chieftain was already had an idea the Hacker was in the top side because he timed his Raptors properly and then it was already gone. So usually, you're like, all right, where is he? So getting down, realizing the Hacker is in the top side of the map makes it easier for Jinja and Road to continue to break pressure. So right now, look at how low that tower is. 5 minutes into the game.
Almost looks like Caitlyn, but they find Talia caught underneath the turret. Ignite, it's ticking. Yoon gets the surprise kill. The pullback for Fury underneath that turret punishes the aggression.
Wow, that's when Road and Jinja just feeling themselves a little bit too much. They said, okay, you know what, then we can harass under the tower, but remember the pick potential coming out of Fury and Yoon exists. It's still there. Respect the E and pullback from Fury.
It's a good punish of the aggression coming out from BLG, but as you said, that turret is already at half health. We've checked in with the top lane quite a few times now, and it's been the same thing over and over again, Raz. It's been Xiao going aggressive against Amazing J, followed by Amazing J shadow dashing away. He does not want to deal with this Aatrox, and he's already 20 CS behind Xiao.
Oh my god.
Good damage, good talk comes through, flashes away. Xiao though, with the extended attack range, jumps forward, kills the ninja.
Yeah, you would think that Shen could do well in this matchup, but you'd forget the fact that Aatrox would just max his E. That's not an auto attack. That's a lot of damage that comes off a crowd, and of course the utility that follows through. So very easy for Xiao to just harass him time and again. Turns into that dive.
And showing his aggression in the top lane, making sure that he is known, or his presence is felt, I should say, because we've already talked about these two top laners, very different styles. Xiao, the highest kill participation for a top lane at the moment. Highest damage out of everyone on his team. But we can't talk about top lane because bottom lane, everyone just wants to fight and potentially die.
Don't want you talking about a damn thing.
What? You can talk about whatever I want. I'm like Mundo.
Just saying. Right now, Fury and Yoon saying talk about me. They want the pressure. Right now, Fury and Yoon are going to have to. They need the attention from Hacker. Hacker has ultimate, but he can't use it offensively. He has to actually stick around here for defensive play if this dive comes through.
BLG are calling upon their mid laner. Jinja does get locked in again by Fury. His pullbacks have been fantastic to watch so far. Making sure that Never Move constantly connects, constantly threatens Jinja and Rogue when they step up to harass these two underneath the turret. Chieftain is waiting in the wing.
Yeah, Mo's going to have to go back to lane to catch the wave, but the job's done in the sense. TP is the only thing FunFun has for himself.
Hacker's going to try and jump in, followed by a teleport that's coming out from Xiao. FunFun looking to try and join the fight as well. Cancels his own teleport. But Road is going to be the first casualty, and it stops BLG for pushing for this tower.
All right, they're going to have to back away entirely. So you can really see the problem that it has here. FunFun is actually going to die off.
Mole wants to go for that kill, force the ultimate, but FunFun flashes away.
There we go. So no flash on FunFun. He could be the next target here for Chieftain. And sigh of relief, honestly, the fact that Chieftain can now actually have a win condition mid lane instead of bottom lane.
But that was FunFun swapping out his first summoner spell there, Raz. Swapped out for teleport. Tried to use it for bottom lane. That's why we didn't see him rotate with Mole. Wanted to stay in lane, get the extra advantage, and use the new Unsealed Spellbook to teleport into that bottom lane fight. He's not going to have access to that teleport until he swaps out a few more of his summoner spells, so he can't make that same play again.
And that's why I would say Spellbook's been having problems. People haven't gone towards it because it's not a permanent one. It has a timeout period. You go back to your initial summoner spell. So now the fact that he won't have TP for some time means that Vladimir just can't hold on to TP as a late game policy, where you're going in for a 1-3-1. So the flexibility isn't there any longer, which is why I would much rather have Electrocute for the lane. Especially right now, since Mo's been absolutely putting on the pressure, has Sheen for himself, so he needs to be able to fend for himself.
But it's not like the play doesn't work. Hacker's still got a kill for the gank of the bottom lane, relieves some pressure from BLG. But that turret is so low. Another push would be enough to take it down to the bottom lane. But the pressure's been reversed against BLG on the top side of the map. Yes, they're very strong and in control in the bottom lane, But Xiao already finding a solo kill against Amazing J. Now has FLICKR waiting in Fog of War. Trying to see if he can spot out. Road though, going to run straight into Nocturne, and Nox is going to try and give him nightmares. The flick back doesn't go through because there is a spell shield. Mole trying to join this fight, but a good flash away coming out from Nocturne. Stand United as well as Road riding the wall to try and collapse on him, but he finds a way out. FLICKR has hacked his way into the top lane. And now the target is going on towards Xiao, locking him down. Amazing J goes in with the Shadow Dash, does have the blood well available, but he gets the kill, finds a second one as well. This is mayhem in the top lane. Xiao wants to kill everybody. Chieftain finally gets up there. Bloodwell does get popped. 3 members of BLG left. They finally will deal with this monstrosity in the top lane, taking him down.
You have to pull a lot of resources here, but Suning Gaming should feel happy. Xiao 3-1-0, while at the same time having pressure in 2 lanes. BLG did a lot to try and make that work. Too much.
Way too much. But Suning do the opposite of what we saw from BLG in the first match. They say, you know what, if there's a dive coming into the top lane, we'll just sacrifice those 2 members. We'll lose our turret, but do this. As you mentioned, they get so much for it. Pushing in mid lane. They've got a push going in the bottom lane as well, which they were losing heavily.
It's real rough here. You can just see the reason for it. The reason why it all started is because they tried to protect Road. That is fine. Flash being used by FLICKR, that's when it should stop. Because, you know, Nocturne's underneath the tower. You're not going to be able to get him because the wave is nowhere near that tower. And also Xiao not going to die, has Bloodwell and Q. He is gone. But they tried real hard and it just didn't work out for themselves.
No, did not. They still got the 2 kills at the end of the day. Traded 2 for 2, lost 2 turrets, but got the first turret for himself. Benford, however, in trouble. Forced to use Sangwei Pool. Mole gonna throw out his ultimate, collects him, locks him down, disarms, slowed down, throws another rock, and Road gets it with the pebbles. Sydney tried to capitalize on Fern's death by picking up Rift Herald, but another good pick by BLG's mid laner.
Yeah, real good timing. They can actually get a Mountain Dragon off of this, so won't turn into too much other than that, but it's a breath of fresh air now knowing that you're on the back foot. So let's take a look at this once again, because Xiao do not know how he dies off this, because all he needs is a few auto attacks to basically gain access to Bloodwell. He's going to be fine from this point forward. And you can see the people who are trying to dive the Nocturne, sure, you're able to get the kill, but you're diving the tower and you're way too damn squishy, so it allows for Xiao to get a few kills for himself.
Also a little bit greedy, it seemed, from Xiao there. Aggressively jumping forward instead of jumping onto Chieftain or moving away from that fight. Could have potentially saved himself, saved his life, because he didn't get any more kills off the back of that. Had Bloodwell available, but he could taste it. You know, in that situation, you're 2 on 5, you get 2 kills, everyone else's health bars are blinking. That's the time to try and go for that risky hero play. Doesn't work out, however, for Suning.
Yeah, especially since Amazing J used his dodge shield initially, so coming back from Bloodwell, you'd think that he would be able to take it, so at least that expends the flash from Chieftain, so he's in a better position with the split push that he has.
Does, and Xiao has his own flash back up and available. Teleport is there too. And as we came out of that replay, we saw the top lane outer turret was taken down. Big advantage for Xiao. He's got his Titanic Hydra complete. Amazing J still sitting on the components of his Sunfire Cape. 0-2-0. 35 CS behind Xiao as well. Big advantage to Suning's top laner. This is why he's one of the best, and currently the best in the LPL, it seems.
Yeah, and it's only going to be scarier from this point forward. Remember the massive win rate that Xiao, or at least the Aatrox, has for himself. And it's primarily off the 2 items that he's supposed to get for himself, which is Titanic Hydra and Guinsoo's Rage Blade. So he's very close to being able to achieve that. He ended up getting Berserker's Greaves as well, so a lot of the attack speed being built in for himself means that he's specifically moving towards the solo lane here. Between him and Amazing J. Amazing J needs to find opportunities across the map because he can't take the pressure that's been piling up against him.
Well, that seems to be one of their win conditions now. Split push with Xiao, have FLICKR waiting nearby with the Paranoia, try and stop ganks or go for picks themselves. But we didn't see BLG's early game strategy pan out because yes, Jinjiang Road had a lot of pressure with this Rise as well as Thalia bottom lane combo. And they got a few kills for themselves and chipped away at the turret in the bottom lane, but they never took it down. So now that play fizzles out, now that they can't really go back into those lane setups and they're going towards the mid game, and Suning have taken down 3 turrets, what's next for BLG? How do they find a way back into this match?
For me, with BLG, it's based off of Shen and the jungler as well. If Chieftain and Amazing J can look for plays using the submarine strat to at least get a pick off of either Yoon or Fen, that's great for them. Back in the same position that they were in Game 1, so they need to really find picks, and it's on Suning Gaming that can just play it passively.
Yeah, but it's Suning who wants to be aggressive, it seems here, Raz. They throw Rift Herald down in the bottom lane. Not only did he use the Nocturne ultimate, but Yoon was threatening with his own. Shelly gets another charge, takes down the bottom lane inhibitor to about half health. It will regenerate to 2/3. But you said that Suning have the opportunity to relax, to sit back and play a bit more passive. They're not listening to you, Raz. They want to be aggressive right now.
And it makes me sad. I think they can do a lot here. Remember that BLG, with how far but they are behind, specifically Road. Road is just so easy to go for a kill. So now Hacker using his ultimate just to push BLG back rather than to look for a play off that means that BLG have an opportunity to place down more defensive wards around the Baron. Remember, 15 minutes into it, that's 5 minutes until Baron means anything.
Ooh,
so they can use that. Yeah, it's going to be quite some time for them to actually farm up for themselves and look for a countermeasure towards either Fen or Xiao. Xiao's going to be a difficult one because he's a beast with how much resources he has.
Yeah, it's 50 CS ahead of Mason J. You were talking to me about this Swain as well as Vladimir pick. I want to hear more about that because we've seen Fury go towards the Swain. This is fairly common in the bottom lane, but Fury is known for picking up the champion. But Vladimir was also a pick that is very commonly used in the bottom lane, this time going back into the mid lane for Fen, and not the other way around.
Yeah, Fury usually going towards, because he's played it once before, and he's played it as a pick towards the Vladimir because it has lane pressure. Lane pressure is the big go-to that Fury values here. This time around, picking it up for himself with the Rakan is the opposite of that, just because it's going to be Jinja and Road that we're wrestling away from it, picking Taliyah. But the benefit of it, and you got to see it a little bit in the laning phase, is that it has so much pick potential with its E as well. So it's great to see that you can have the push priority when you hit level 9 to max your Q and just constantly spamming out in lane. But if the opportunity arises, it's flexible enough to just play it lame and look for opportunities.
And we also get the flexibility from Fen. I mean, in his series against Vici, he played 3 bruises. 2 games of Aurelia, 1 game of Darius. This is Knight's so-called replacement. Knight's having contract difficulties. We haven't heard if he's going to be playing for Suning or if it's going to be sticking with Fen. But in this series, he showed he can go towards the mages. He can pick up the supports as well. And this is a unique strategy of going for the unsealed spellbook Vladimir at that. Which is good for Suning because without their star mid laner, they need something to pick up the slack almost. And Fen's done a decent job so far.
Yeah, a year before they even brought Knight into the team, it was a Xiao composition. They play towards Xiao or they play towards Fury. So it's not something that's completely foreign to them. But what was great, the last split that they had Knight, was that they had multiple playmaking opportunities. So it's a little bit more linear that they now just all in on Xiao. Fury's a little bit more safe in this regards in the early portions of the game, but teams just haven't been able to push it back.
No.
So it's just, if Xiao is playing so damn well, and if Hacker can facilitate for that as much as he has been throughout the split, then there's not much to change here. So this has been a week that is going to be testing Suning Gaming, but so far they're passing.
It's been good so far for Suning. They've got a difficult week ahead of them. Trying to see if BLG go for a fight first before I talk a bit more about this, because Suning, already mentioned, they've had a rather easy schedule in week 1. They went up against Vici, it was a 2-1 fight for them, but then they had a 2-0 victory against LG. And then we said week 2 is the big test, because not only did they have this match against BLG, a reminder, BLG also had that 2-1 fight against Vici, but they played a 1-2 loss against Jindong. That's the team that just took down RNG as well, and that's who Suning will be playing soon too. Suning will go up against Jindong, they'll go up against RNG as well this week. Very difficult schedule for them.
And I really want to see the Suning Gaming versus JDG match. Because just remember, last split, Suning couldn't make it to the playoff because when it came down to the e-commerce war, JD won.
Oh, that hurts.
It was harsh.
It wasn't even, the onus wasn't even on JD. Suning had to mess up for it to happen, and it happened. And then JD got the upset.
Exactly. So when JD went up against them, even though Suning Gaming were the team that were favored in that regard because they had star players, top, mid, jungle, didn't happen for themselves. So this is great in terms of revenge. Revenge for Suning Gaming to go up against JD and prove that they were the rightful best team against the two of them.
Good build-up of form as well. I mean, you go up against BLG, a team that has a very strong start to the split, a very stable team as well. we've never seen them be incredibly good in the LPL. Like, we've seen them when they were IMA make a miracle run to go to Worlds. We've always seen the middle of the pack closing in on top of the table, closing in on playoffs, but never outright best, but stable. Suning would be having a good momentum going in after an easy week 1 into BLG with what seems to be a very dominant start. They're looking to try and close out game 2. And then against their e-commerce rivals of JD, then against the MSI champions of RNG, trying to roll off that momentum.
We're just learning more and more about the Suning Gaming without Knight, just because we're talking about the fact that BLG, sure, they've never been the best, but they've always been strong specialists, teamfight specialists. And the fact that Suning Gaming are moving away from that, splitting them up, and when teamfights do happen, it's in a massive numbers advantage. Suning Gaming has shown to us, with this set specifically, that their setup is real strong for the dives that they've been showcasing for themselves, and Xiao Ao is relentless.
And their reactionary play has been good as well. We saw that BLG, their reactionary play in game number 1 wasn't that good. Suning reacting accordingly so far though. Now I'm checking in with this because Hack is looking to try and see if he can go for a big fight on the top side of the map. BLG are going to retreat, but it's been 5 minutes since we last talked about this. Baron has spawned. Both teams have been fairly passive, however. Suning were a little bit proactive with Rift Herald. They looked for a dive bottom lane, but since then you were right. They've just been sitting back, relaxing and farming. BLG have not been able to find the picks you were talking about either. So where do we go to next? Because Baron could be a big objective, and Suning are finally looking to try and start pushing for some of these inner turrets too.
I'm surprised Suning have decided to do this, because they can stick around Baron for a little longer, play a lot more lamer on the top side of the map. They can just push mid, top, and stick around Baron, because Aatrox is doing an excellent job at keeping Amazing J in the tower. And they could just look to chip tower. So the fact that they're doing this is a little bit of confidence on the side of Suning Gaming, saying that we can take this mid lane tower. We've seen what's been happening throughout the series.
They've got some good item spikes for themselves at the moment, which you can see on your screen. But let's focus on this turret, because Xiao Ao's even cheating between bottom lane and mid lane. This turret goes low, and Yoon says, I'm going to go for the initiation. The rest of Suning wants to follow back up. Paranoia, as well as Aatrox jumping back in. Fern into the back lines. Road needs to get standing line to stay alive, but it's a double kill being picked up by Aatrox. Xiao Ao is a monster, and he's not going to stop. He wants everybody dead, and with that one play, Suning might be able to break the base of BLG.
4 members down in a flash. No timing. They saw Mole walking up, didn't even have the time to flash because he was CC'd to Infinity. So that was a ridiculous play coming out of Suning Gaming.
Fantastic play from Suning Gaming. Locking down 4 members of BLG, only Jin Jiao left alive. They take the mid lane inhibitor turret. They take mid lane inhibitor as well. And now Suning moving towards the Baron buff. Slowly members of BLG are respawning, but it doesn't seem like they'll be able to get their jungler there in time.
Yeah, not at all. It's just really interesting to see that Suning Gaming were just so quick to the jump right there. The fact that BLG for so long, when they had the advantage, they didn't look to make any plays in game 1. But Suning Gaming recognized throughout the entire series that BLG were not willing to stand their ground. They found the play on towards Aurelia and made it look easy.
Certainly did. They found that pick. Then they went for the dive. Xiao Ao was just way too strong. Before the fight happened, before we focused on those turrets, we were talking about item breakpoints, Raz. We didn't get a touch on some of them. One of them was Xiao Ao. Quincy's Rage Blade and Titanic Hydra were complete before that fight. He picked up enough gold from it that he went for a complete frozen mallet afterwards.
All right, he's a beast. He's a bit of a fridge. At this point in time,
A fridge?
A fridge. The type that you don't even want to open.
But there's food in the fridge, Raz. Why do you not?
You don't want to open it.
I've learned maybe not to question this. I don't want to know what's in your fridge.
What kind of, yep.
I don't want to know.
Exactly. So Amazing J, get the hell away from that fridge.
Okay. Stay away from the fridge, Aatrox. Next skin, confirmed. But he is a monster. Noxon picking up a couple items for himself, and he's actually...
What?
Hey, hang on! Wait, where did he go? What's going on? He's teleporting all over the place, Raz! I don't understand! Hacker in trouble, but Fury does teleport back in. The Demon picks up 2 with the help of Fenford. Xiao Ao wants to join the fight as well. Amazing J forced the Shadow Dash away from this. Mole retreating deeper into the jungle as well. Chieftain trying to disengage. Fenford now gets caught up by Mole, going for a quick battle, throwing out his ultimate as well. Disarming a couple of champions, but he's running deeper into the enemy territory. He has to turn back around and fight. Good dodge coming out from Fenford. Flash takes Mole away. Does use the blast, going to delay his death a little bit longer. But Suning are going to be forced to chase him down.
All right, so that being said, It's few members down. Mo's going to take some time. Does a good enough job to just buy for time, so they're not going to get any push for this. Jinzhao and Road are already on the map, so good job, Mo. Good job. What the hell? Yeah, let's take a look at this, because this is the most impactful darkness I've ever seen. Because he goes towards the team. Oh my god, I've never seen this in my life. This is beautiful.
What was beautiful about that? Raz?
Look, he dies, but that's the best death ever. Definitely worth it for the highlight play.
He Nocturne ulted into Ryze's ult, which brought him back to the exact same spot he started in.
And died because there were 3 people around him. So
yes.
That was phenomenal. I loved it. He probably loved it.
Man, Nocturne's meant to give other people nightmares, not himself. But Sunny go for another fight. Locking down one Talia's jet straight away. Amazing tries to torn up the entire team. Dodge field will keep him alive for a little bit. But FLICKR eventually takes him down. And Sunny, they're pushing for the base here as Mole already below half health. 3 members. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Yeah, that should be it. Right now, no Amazing Day, no Road, and they're just sitting at the damn turret.
Both turrets are going to fall. Nexus is there. Sunny put on a fantastic show. 2-0 against BLG.
They just thrashed them this series. Simple and clean. Suning Gaming this week are sending a message to the 2 teams that are going up against them very soon. RNG, JDG at the very end.
And according to Raz, that message is what is in Xiao Al's fridge. You don't want to find out. Man, it's a monster. He is so good, Raz.
I just want to know what RNG's expiration date is.
Ooh.
Coming soon.
Calling it that early. You reckon that Suning's the team that's going to take down the MSI champions? I mean, JD's already done it.
Look, all I'm saying is right now Suning is ready to play. RNG are currently inflicted by the home stage curse. Being in Beijing, so we'll see if that continues on.
It's only meant to last 1 game. And so could Spring Split. Victus Gaming lost the opening match of the LPL. Then what happened?
Then they went off.
Then they went on a 13-game winning streak. It was fantastic to watch. A crash and burn for the playoffs, not fantastic there. It's all speculatory. It's still week 2 of the summer split. One thing's for sure, Suning have come out to play.
And it changes my expectations a lot, because going into this split, I felt like Suning Gaming, going back to FenFen, would turn back in towards an average team. Losing a playmaker should be a lot, because this team was great turning up the octane, but they could still do it even if they have FenFen, because Xiao has come to play.
He topped the damage in that match, Raz. 14.6k ahead of Xiao Al, who normally holds over 30% of his team's damage share. In fact, FenFen was the lowest in terms of his team's damage share. Lower than Fury, lower than Hacker, lower than Xiao Al in average damage share until this match. Now creeping back up, doing well in the mid lane, bringing the unorthodox spellbook, which we haven't seen since its change, and using it well in this victory against BLG.
Yeah, not much has changed since the time has been away. That's what I've realized. He's really in tune with the team's team fighting. So when the dives come through, he's following immediately, and that's what we like to see, strong communication on the side of this team.
Yep, it has been very good communication coming out from Suning so far. Lots of questions about Knight. We still don't know what's happening with his contract, but Suning said there are some difficulties. FenFen really stepping up is great to see, but for the side of BLG, they looked okay. They're setting up for strategies, they're just not executing it well, and it's costed them not only a match against VG, their series against Jindal, but now a 2-0 defeat against Suning.
And if you watch Game 1, I don't know where the confidence has gone for this team, because a lot of this was, early games was being made for this. So I want to see a lot more movement coming out of the mid lane. Mole should be in tune with Chieftain. That's what made them so damn good later on in the last split. So I don't know what's been happening, but this time around they need to shape up.
I mean, when Chieftain and Mole joined the BLG roster, it looks a lot better. They still have Mianhua as well as Athena sitting in the substitutes, which could come out to play throughout the rest of the split. But to break down that series and to send us into the next, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Simple and clean is the way that Suning Gaming are making me feel tonight, and it's hard to let it go, honestly, and it comes down to the draft itself, Rusty, and that's really what we want to start off this discussion, because now, this is a little bit complicated. I know you explained it to me, and I took up 2 pages of my notebook trying to figure it out, so I'm just going to send it over to you, take it from the top.
Okay, so with the draft, when it comes up on the screen, the thing that I want to talk about the most is BLG.
The reason I want to talk about BLG the most is because there are flexes everywhere, and it goes from start to finish. And the interesting thing is, and we get to the end draft, I actually like Sunning's comp a bit better, but the way that BLG got there was super interesting. So to speak through it, they first picked the Ryze. Now, Ryze is picked into the Vladimir in the bottom lane all the time. The weird thing about that is that Sunning immediately afterwards, they picked the Vladimir. So you're like, okay, clearly they're going to be flexing that to the mid lane. We saw Fen pick that one up, go for the Unsealed Spellbook and have a good showing. So the Ryze is locked in, and then Shen gets picked at the same time with the Rex side. Now, Shen is also a bottom laner. So you actually look at the composition that BLG have got with their first 2 picks. You're like, all right, Ryze, Shen, bottom lane. That's the way that it's going to go. You know that they can't put a Vladimir bottom lane now from Sunning Gaming's side. They set themselves up for the rest of the draft. You go into the rest of the draft, the ban phase next. Gangplank and Singed are banned by BLG. So you've got your bottom lane, you've got top laners being banned, and then they fourth pick Talia. You know, okay, so they've got a mid laner, they've got a jungler, they've got a bottom laner. All they're missing is the top laner. They've been banning counters away. They're ready to pick something for Amazing J, have a pop-off performance like the Darius style that you expect from him. And then once again, they flex the Aurelia to mid lane, put the Shen to top lane, Talia down to support. And to me, this is super smart because they know exactly what's happening on the Sunning Gaming side. They see the lanes locked in before they complete the flex, and it shows once again the strength of Red side having the last pick with so many flex picks running around in League of Legends. It's a very smart idea from them. Unfortunately, their opponent's draft is just a little bit better anyway, and they still get the kills.
I mean, that's the cool thing, right? Because BLG at the start of the day, when we were hearing from them and AJ as well, they were saying, okay, this draft, very difficult to navigate. We put a lot of preparation into it. We clearly saw that in the draft. We clearly saw it from their setup. It was just what they were able to execute in-game, which was the problem for them. As we take a look at the bottom lane right here, though, we actually have a bunch of kills just to roll out here. It was just very chaotic. Honestly, I mean, top lane just kind of had to bite it while everything else was happening in the bottom lane.
And it all starts off super well for BLG. Again, through that draft, they want to be playing towards the bottom side of the map. Rek'Sai is the only place that he can go is mid and bottom, and they do get those early first kills. You're like, all right, this is a very promising beginning for BLG until you watch the combo of Swain and Rakan. The fact that you can hit the E, and then before you pull him in, Rakan gets to actually buffer in the W, knock him up, and start the rest of the CC chain. 3 forms of CC effectively come out through that, and it's coupled with a bunch of damage that they've got for themselves. And that was the thing. And this is so much like a prototypical Road thing that just, oh, it's very frustrating to watch, actually. He always dies in lane. No matter what happens, he either disappears from lane and he leaves Jin Zhao by himself, or he finds a way to die in lane. And he dies to Rakan's pre-6 as Morgana with a spell shield. Like, these things shouldn't be possible. Road finds a way to do it, and suddenly that bottom lane, all the way of
Rusty, I think this is the most passionate I've ever seen you in my life, actually.
Main,
it's your support main, but also you're a Talia who has played in the support role and also won with it in solo queue. So you can understand why Rusty's a little bit mad right now. But I also want to talk about the fact that we have to praise Fury. We've got to praise the fact that he's an AD carry adapting very well to this meta. That was some clean Swain that I would look at any solo lane and be like, that was good.
Yeah, certainly was. Fury's someone that we definitely have to speak towards, and it's not even just that he's got a good Swain going, it's that he's got good synergy with his team, and you'll see it here. The timing, knowing full well that Yoon was going to engage and hitting the E is another thing. Pulling the Aurelia back that may have been able to survive, and then of course Fen comes in with the rest of the team fight. But Fury does so much work, and he's shown that already in the second week, the first day of the second week in the LPL, he has a mastery of Swain in the bottom lane, and they're fully prepared to play Sunning.
It's that, and the fact that Sunning Gaming in that first game, and the fact that we even spoke about pre-game, that Xiao Ao, very much the star of this team right now, but that wasn't really about Xiao Ao, yet he still went 3-1 in lane.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Usually when you watch Sunning Gaming play through that whole first week, Hacker was going top lane. They were sending Fen up there sometimes as well. They were getting him fed by putting resources towards him. And this is the first real game we've seen where the opposite's the case. They reacted to BLG. They've acknowledged that BLG is going bottom. They said, okay, we'll farm, we'll get 6, we'll stop bottom lane from dying a lot, and we'll go there ourselves. And somehow, Xiao Ao ends up 3-1. Somehow he's able to still beat Amazing J in lane. That was Amazing J's first solo death in lane as well this split, so he's a very hard man to kill. Yet here we are. Xiao Ao's just that good right now.
He is, and I'm glad we're talking about him because he's going to take our man of the match 2 times in a row. First game was on the Mundo, which gets banned in the second game because of it, then picks up Aatrox and still gets man of the match. And the irony here is that actually he dealt more damage on the Mundo than he did on the Aatrox, but still, great stuff coming out of Xiao Ao and the team of Sunin.
Less people to kill in that particular game on the Aatrox. The Vladimir was doing enough work with the Swain for him to just come in and clean up, be that clean up crew. But Xiao Ao, honestly, he's
We said this before already, but he's the man you need to watch, and for very good reason. Raz even speculated, watch out RNG. I feel like watch out everyone in the LPL if he's going to continue to go on this much of a tear.
I mean, we were just talking about this, Rusty, before we went live. It's the fact that SNG Gaming right now have played 3 matches in the last 4 days. They are playing a lot of League of Legends right now, and I know there's a lot of teams that would just straight up burn out. Like, that's way more than like every other region. But they're just crunching out games, and they're getting better and better and taking down bigger and bigger prey.
And it's curious, you know, the style between every single game is completely different.
Yeah.
Now, the meta is completely different with every single team. You've got the wackiness of Snake, you've got the more reserved nature, let's say, of BLG, and that they want to play a bit more standard, and yet they can still match it all, and they can react and adapt in between games, in between sets, and in between days when they play so many in a single week.
Yeah, for sure. And you can actually see Shower behind us right now, actually just getting interviewed down there. And it's just really impressive what SNG Gaming have been able to pull off. You know, I feel like we just really have to give them the time in the light, because in a couple of weeks' time, they actually could be not just a playoffs team, but even something greater in the LPL. And remember, this is a team that immediately they come in, and the first split, they get a playoff spot.
Yeah.
The second time that they come in, they actually don't make playoffs at all. They actually take that fifth spot taken away by JD Gaming. So
Yeah.
the fact that they're able to come on to the LPL just swinging super hard is just really cool to watch.
And that's the last split, you know, they finished 5th in the last split, maybe deserved 4th, but JD just beat them at the end. Even before that, they started last and worked their way into the playoffs, and they've started to slowly ramp up more and more. And every time we've watched them play through an entire split, we've come back to the end and we're like, okay, they're getting better. They're constantly getting better, and we don't know what the ceiling really is for this 5-man unit if they continue to play as they are now.
Sure.
Then the sky actually is the limit, because so far, in the summer split of 2018, they are destroying everyone.
I mean, let's talk a little bit of history, right? Because when they first came in, they were alongside TOP, previously Dan Gaming, and the trajectory was very different, right? TOP came in, and it was just like 4 series back-to-back, I think. They came in with
They were opposites, yeah.
Yeah, it was like the mad cheese. It was just like, go for Baron 20 minutes, and it just kept working against every team, not just the bottom teams, literally everyone in the LPL. Suning came in very slow, but it was a slow ramp. And that slow ramp hasn't stopped in the last 3 splits. So you're right, I don't know where the ceiling is for Suning, because it hasn't stopped.
Meanwhile, TOP
Meanwhile,
don't really
TOP.
know what they are. I guess we call
Hey,
it
they got a
pulling an
win.
LGD. Just don't really... Yeah, no, hopefully TOP gets it together. But for now, SNG Gaming, very good. BLG, not actually sure what to say for them so far.
Yeah.
They're in and out. They're winning and losing 50%. I can't really stay there forever.
And that's the shocker, because I think unanimously within our team, we were expecting BLG really to be one of the strongest teams in that region and in that group, but has definitely not been the case. All right, we're going to go to break very shortly, but before that, we're actually going to take a look at that Noxen play one more time, as he's just taken a joyride with the Rizal.